Yo, Hudson Valley! Do you know anybody who has a good story about the Ritz Theater? You may be of some help. And we're going to celebrate a book release with one of Rosendale's own. It's November 3rd. Happy birthday to Dolph Lundgren, better known as Ivan Drago. You will lose. I must 845 scene show. If he dies, he dies. This is the 845 Scene Show. This is Timothy Malcolm, the host, and let's go right ahead. Linda Parisi, she's a documentary filmmaker, and she is filming a documentary on the Ritz Theater in Newburgh. And what she's doing this weekend is she's inviting people to come to the theater with their stories and their photos of the Ritz Theater. So if you know anybody who has any stories or photos, or you have some stories or photos yourself of the great Ritz Theater in Newburgh, please come by there from 11 to 4 Saturday and Sunday. The Ritz is at 107 Broadway in Newburgh if you are so inclined. Over in Rosendale, he was a major player of the Rosendale Theater Collective and the revitalization of that theater. His name is F. Stop Fitzgerald, and he's also a photographer. That's the F-stop part. He is going to be at the Rosendale Cafe signing copies of a new book that his photos are in. It's called Adirondack Style. I actually saw this book at the Vanderbilt Mansion and Museum a couple weeks ago. It's a really cool looking book. If you are interested in going to talk to F-stop, get a book signed, and just see some of the photos from that book, you can go to the Rosendale Cafe from 2 to 5 p.m. on Sunday for the signing. The exhibit is open all throughout the month of November, and the cafe is at 434 Main Street in Rosendale. Here is what's on tap for this weekend. There are a ton of stage shows coming up in the Hudson Valley, and we have them all on go. Tangent Theater's November Play Festival, Catfish Moon at the Museum Village Playhouse. County Players is doing Once on This Island, and Half Moon Theater in Poughkeepsie is doing Is He Dead? This is a farce, and the director, Paul Kassel, has generously talked to me about this performance of Is He Dead? So listen as Paul tells you about that.
It's a crazy farce by Mark Twain, adapted by David Ives, about a painter who can't sell a painting to save his life. So instead, to save his friends and to save his romance with a young woman, he decides to kill himself off, or at least pretend to be killed off. And then he decides to impersonate his own sister, who doesn't actually exist. And so merriment and comedy ensues with him trying to paint and maintain the fiction of being his own sister, and also trying to cope with the villainous Bastien Andre, who he owes all sorts of money to, and his friends are deep in debt to. And so this crazy play was a big Broadway hit, and we hope that people come and laugh a lot.
And you can find out more about Is He Dead and all the other performances happening this weekend, or starting this weekend, in the Hudson Valley and Catskills in Friday's Go section. You can hear him on Conan O'Brien's Basic Cable Band on Conan, the TBS late night show. His name is Jimmy Vivino, and he is performing at Brian's Backyard Barbecue on Friday night. Our own Steve Israel sat down on the phone with Jimmy Vivino and had a conversation with him about his music and all the ties he has to the Hudson Valley. Of course, he is a sometimes player in Levon Helm's Ramble Band. So check out Go on Friday for Steve Israel's story as Vivino comes in to the town of Wallkill this weekend. And now for some quick hits. The Reverend Howard Levy is coming to the Railroad Playhouse Saturday night. The show is at 8 p.m. for this comedy performance. Tropical Storm Irene, of course, the effects are still being felt, and there's a benefit at Via Vocilla in Tannersville. The Big Takeover, Hemingway's Cat, many more bands performing. It starts at 11 a.m. on Saturday in Tannersville. The Rick Savage Fortet is playing the Daltage in Warwick Friday night. If you are so interested, head down to South Street and listen to that wonderful band. And Americana artist Abigail Washburn is playing at the Bearsville Theater Saturday night. That show is at 8 p.m. And finally, if you are interested in going to Levon Helm's Ramble this weekend, standing room, of course, you can still get tickets. Teddy Thompson is opening for Levon and the Ramble Band. That show, as always, on Saturday night in Levon's house. For more on the Hudson Valley and Catskills arts and entertainment scene, please go to 845scene.com. And as always, you can check out our Facebook, our Twitter, everything else that we are a part of. or you can just come back to the show next week. The 845 Scene Show airs on Thursdays here on 845scene.com. Until then, my name is Timothy Malcolm. Have some fun now!